So do you guys ever get in discussions in the comment sections of videos or whatever, and you get into this back and forth, and it seems like you find yourself like, why can't I win? Why won't this person see the light? Why won't they see what I'm trying to say? And what's going on? Why are some people so good at comment sections and others are so simple? So I thought maybe I'd create a new playlist, calling it something like, comment section duels or how to win in the comment section. I don't know. Because they are kind of duels, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm not great at it. There is people that are absolutely amazing. But I at least have some pretty solid techniques, and rather than going theory heavy here in a very academic approach, I thought, well, maybe I can just show discussions that I get into online, because I kind of tear up my local community forum, dropping in, little conspiracy seeds that I throw to the wind and see what sprouts. And I want to give you just maybe some scenarios that you may have run through, and you can kind of watch how it plays out. So let's use this one as an example. I live in Western Washington. I get really tired of the liberals talking about global warming and all the fart sniffing that goes along with their electric car and all that. So I decided to post something like this. And this isn't a perfect opener. You might be able to sense my frustration with the subject a little bit. And that tends to lessen your effectiveness. But the discussion that ensues from it actually plays out pretty well. So I write, electric vehicles run on electricity. But where does electricity come from? And then I post this article, I'll link to it below, by a guy named Mike Shedlock, an economic analyst, who looks at how Germany now is going to have to burn more coal. They are mandating more coal to produce electricity due to the gasoline shortage. Of course, the war has an impact, but so does the environmentalism. For example, Joe Biden has shut down a massive amount of drilling, and it's a global market. So, where does the electricity come from? Answer, coal. Mostly anyway, and that is true. We get electricity from a variety of sources: gas, coal, some nuclear, and then a teeny little bit from windmills. And so I write, and now Germany is switching from oil back to coal as part of their green energy transition, lol. And it's good when liberals use Newspeak to throw in the little LOL just to show that you laugh at their rhetorical games. It's a nice little technique. So switching from a dirty form of energy to a dirtier form of energy is progress. Self-own complete. But my virtue signaling, see, that I think is a little overboard. I broke the character a little bit. All in all, fairly strong open. Anyway, that's enough dangerous thinking for today. Nothing to see here, citizen. Move along. And that's kind of been my, I don't know what you would call it, my closing statement I use over and over again, because it's always like these people just obey what is on the news. Keep your social credit score high. So I linked to the article, and a gentleman named Floyd, who Floyd will show up through this whole thing. Floyd says, and your reason for posting this is, now a couple things to remember in online discussions is, one, picture this happening on that big screen at a football stadium or something. Realize you're not just having a discussion between one person and yourself, because you're never going to change that person's mind. Accept that reality. But the other part of that reality is lots of other people are going to be seeing this. So you're almost putting on a public show now at this point. Floyd has engaged, and what does he open with? Does he open with a counter-argument? Does he open with a critique of the article? Does he open with some facts that may contradict what I posted? No. He says, and your reason for posting this is. And so the second thing you should think is, first of all, okay, we're now putting on a show at the stadium. The second thing is, when someone responds, ask yourself, what are they really doing? What are they really saying? What he's saying to me is, I looked at what you had to say. Don't post this stuff here. It's a shame attempt. Like, this doesn't belong here. And it's like, it's a public forum. I can post whatever I want. And so I answer, and it helps to answer in short, terse responses. Brevity is quite a strong technique. Of course, use enough words. You got to use enough words to say something coherent, but less words is better. I say, ditto, friend. Basically, my response is to his. He goes, how dare you, And I go, yeah, same to you. What if I don't have a right to post here? What right do you have? Notice I don't get defensive and I don't start explaining myself. Those are two signs that you're losing on a comment section debate. Keep them on the defensive. What is your reason for posting this? My response is basically, what is your reason for posting this? And I don't get butthurt or angry or snarky or rude. If you can keep it like you're the one that is above the fray, you're the one that's the least bothered, the most calm, it also projects this air of control. So Floyd goes, oh, so there is no reason. That's cool. So what did he just say? I said, self-own complete. Because what did he actually say? Oh, you posted it for no reason, which he answered my question, what was your reason for posting? He had no reason. And you can establish dominance in a comment section like that by just proving that your opponent is demonstrably dumber than you are. And so I figured this was over. Like, I was like, that was hilarious. And this is a great example. I was already planning on making the video, but Floyd couldn't let it go. After I laugh at him for having no reason for posting what he posted, for questioning my reason for posting what I posted, this is a strange response, and I had to think on this one. I almost let it lie here. There's nothing wrong with walking away once a discussion's run its course. You don't want to, carry it on for hours and hours and hours, but it was still early in the day. He says, try harder to cover up your true feelings and intent. It shows. Ooh. So what is he actually saying? I know what you're doing, man. I know. So on this public stage in the stadium, he's like, I know what he's doing. He's trying to mess with our minds, man. He's trying to change our thinking. And I had to think for a while, because you get these initial, the first responses that pop in your mind probably aren't that good. Because there is an urge to justify it. I'm not trying to cover up my feelings. It's plain as day. But again, then you're explaining. Then you're acting as if you have to protect what you said. And that projects weakness, at least on this public forum where a discussion happens in front of potentially hundreds of people, right? So it was just a weird statement. And then it came to me. I calls it like I sees it. So what am I saying back? He's like, you're trying to cover up your feelings. Now, we're way out of dialectic zone here. We're way out of logical sound argument zone. This is pure rhetorical dueling at this point. So the number one thing is I don't get defensive. I own it. It's almost an agree and amplify, a reductio ad absurdum. You're trying to cover things up and blah, I know what you're doing. And it's like, yep, that's what I'm doing. And this really seems to just break him at this point. He then writes Popeye with an upside down smiley face emoji, and then he double posts or Three Stooges. Don't use weird emojis, and if you can help it at all costs, don't double post. So think about what we've gone from. We've gone from Floyd that's like, how dare you post this here, to Floyd who says, try to cover up your feelings. I know what you're doing. To, oh, Popeye and the Three Stooges and jokes. You're making jokes. I get jokes. So he's just trying every emotionally manipulative technique in the book. And the sad part is it's kind of projection, because it's like, keep trying, Floyd, because we know what your true intent are. It does show. Anyway, Nancy, who frequently has my back on these sorts of things, and she gets it, says, if someone doesn't agree they should post something to back up their belief, rude comments are never helpful in this current climate of unrest. I happen to see nothing wrong with the post that only stated facts. I'd be happy to read a rebuttal. Good old Nancy, looking for dialectic. Solid, logical woman. Which, and also as an aside, once the women start taking your side in public, you pretty much won. I mean, think about like any sort of competition between two males, and then the girls pick one of the guys, right? So at this point, I'm done talking. I have started the snowball rolling down the hill. The girls are coming in. They're taking my side. There's nothing more I need to say, and it goes on. So Nancy calls for a civil discussion. Well, Adam does something you should never, ever do in an online comment section. He posts a wall of text. And nobody reads walls of text. And I actually couldn't capture the entire thing Adam said in one screenshot. And wall of text just reeks of desperation. So he explains it all in like detail. And like I could rebut all this. I clearly could, because we're talking about the fact that we're not drilling enough oil to meet demands. That's the point of the discussion. But he just needs to go on and on about showing off how much he knows. And so it goes on and on until another page. So to his credit, he at least posts an article that if you were so inclined, you could read and pick apart, right? But nobody cares, Adam. And to make things worse, Adam doesn't just post a wall of text. He then replies to his own pet post again 15 minutes later. And this is funny. Now, Nancy, this is why you don't see more people posting rebuttals to misleading posts like this. It probably took him 5 minutes. Oh, no, brother. I've spent about 5 years debunking climate change on YouTube, but go ahead, assume what you will. It probably took him 5 minutes to compose his message, and it has taken me 30 minutes to rebut it. And I really should have done something better with my time. So having a reasoned discussion on the most concerning element of our current economy, which is the sky-high price of filling up my gas tank, is a waste of time. But, and then he said, oh man, the amount of energy needed to refute BS. Hey man, my stuff wasn't BS. Mike Shedlock called the deflation back in 2008, back when everyone like Peter Schiff was calling for inflation. Mike Shedlock is a solid economist. But anyway, he probably doesn't know anything about markets. Let me do some mind reading and assuming for a change. Feels good. So it takes too much energy, as you can clearly see with Adam's effort, to refute my simplistic plebeian BS. So don't question it. Again, isn't it weird? Like, this is a very long, complex version of, what was that guy's name? Floyd. Of what Floyd was doing. It's the very long-winded version of shaming people for not accepting the liberal orthodoxy. So, as you can see, I'm still not contributing. I'm way done with this, other than presenting it to you for your amusement. So then Floyd, in his, he's not done getting humiliated, starts going after the girl. Real gentleman. Floyd says, you haven't been on this forum very long, have you? Yeah, Floyd, you've really shown your forum commenting acumen in this discussion. I think he realized he got smacked around pretty hard. And so he, like a transgender swimmer, decides, maybe I can come in first place trying to beat up on the girls. Nancy, solid, logical woman, says, Floyd, I've been on here years, actually. And she says, if I don't like something posted, I either scroll past it or back up my opinions with facts. I will be turning off notifications for this post so I don't waste my time with meaningful comments versus facts. I think she meant mean comments. Whatever. Post something with facts for me to read and I'll have both sides of the story to compare. And then Floyd says, Nancy. Suddenly Floyd becomes very reasonable and logical. How many faces of Floyd have we seen during this debate? What a weasel. This is why women, you should go on dates with men rather than just hooking up on Tinder. You want to spend some time getting to know them. At least 3 dates, because the personality that you're dealing with will start to come out. Floyd changes his colors again. Floyd the chameleon, maybe we'll call him. Nancy, as long as words are backed up by verifiable facts, then no one should have an issue with it, right, Nancy? Because after all, there is only one true set of facts, which ought to be backed up with evidence. Agreed? Nancy, probably vomiting with disgust right now, says, Floyd, agreed. And then Floyd says, thank you, Nancy. Civility is contagious. Yeah, this is the same Floyd that has tried every technique under the sun to manipulate me. Why are you posting this? Oh, you have no reason to post it. Try harder to cover up your feelings. And then, oh, I'm Mr. Reasonable and Mr. Civility. Hilarious. True weasel. So anyway, I wanted to show you this. This is what it's like to take full command of a thread on a message board. And I did it by, my opening statement, which I think was, it could use some tweaking, but all in all, it was pretty strong. And then by curb stomping the first rhetorical weasel that tries to take me out, the whole forum gains a life of its own. But in the end, what you see there is everyone there was eventually reacting to me, even though I was long gone. And so, I don't know, let me know what you think of this style of video. It's a little quicker for me to whip out. It's not quite so research intensive. Unlike my detractors, it can take a long time to research some of these subjects, but being able to take over a comment section is a very powerful skill. And so learning that proper etiquette and kind of the different rhetorical flourishes and the dynamics in play can really help. So, I successfully planted my one primary idea in the minds of all of these lefties, which was simply, just because it says electric doesn't mean it's clean. Or to sum it up the way Timothy here did, something, owned the libs, triggered snowflake, woke, blah, blah, blah. That's right, Timothy. And until you get some comment section game, there's nothing that you can do about it.